Hi, I'm with a wonder, the mind, the genius, the God King. If you're a teenager under age 20, you need to watch this video because you are the revolution and we have the power to change society. And it's actually so easy. All you have to do is just watch my stream to make me famous and then I can become president. It really is so easy. I guess first I gotta say, I know everyone hates fat people, and I swear I am losing weight now. I personally don't have a problem with fat people, but I totally want to be skinny. And I guess the main only thing letting me do it now is I actually found an easy diet that seems to be working great. I've stuck to my diet for 3 weeks now, and it has been so easy once I started. So I'm sure I'm finally going to get skinny now. I'm doing a zero carb keto diet, and it seems to work super well. I'm losing weight fast. The the diet is just protein shakes whenever I get hungry, with a steak for dinner, and water or diet soda. And then once I get skinny, I guess I'll just eat whatever I want and gain 15 pounds, and then do the diet again to lose 15 pounds. Anyway, I'm getting skinny. I know everyone hates fat people, but I'm getting skinny. Basically, I need to become the next I Show Speed. You kids are watching the wrong person. You should be watching me and not Speed. And sure, Speed is not a bad guy. He's just living in capitalism and trying to make a buck and do fun stuff. But if you're a teenager, you gotta watch this video to learn the real truth and the right path, and learn that if you make me famous, then you actually get to be rich in life from my UBI system. Um, if you watch other people and make other people famous, then you don't get money. Then you don't get any money from that. You just make them rich and famous while you get nothing, and then you have to live your crap life being poor with no money. So so screw that. This is about making money and getting rich. This is about power and control and taking over society. So if you like watching streamers, and that's the culture today, that's what most kids do, because TV sucks and basically everything is all boring and shitty, then you should make me the streamer you watch, because I'm the only streamer that actually makes you money and you get rich from it. If you're gonna watch a streamer, you may as well watch one that makes you rich, and the only streamer who does that is me. Uh, Today in society, 100% of teenagers say their dream job is being a TikToker, a YouTuber, a influencer, or be like the next Harry Styles or Justin Bieber. Basically, being a rich celebrity with infinite money. That's everyone's dream job. And I say that's smart because you don't want to live no poor ass life working at McDonald's. No, you want money. Money is the only thing that matters in this reality. Money is everything. Money rules over society, right? And so I plan to create a society where basically everyone gets to be a rich influencer celebrity. As in, you'll just get money like one. You won't be famous, but at least you'll get the money. And really, that's all your mind actually cares about. Well, once I create my UBI system and you get that sweet UBI money, you'll realize all you cared about was the money. You don't actually care about being famous. You just want the money, right? So, and I've realized this has to be a revolution of teenagers. Because old people over age 20, they can't really do revolutions or watch streamers because they have to work a job and pay the bills. They don't have any free time. I've realized it's really only teenagers that have the power to do a real revolution, because young people are the only ones that actually have any free time. Everyone else is struggling working all day just to make barely enough money to survive. Um, so this is a revolution of teenagers. If you're a teenager, you got to watch this video and learn the right path. Learn your power. Together, you have the power to make a God King famous, and then I can take over and rule over society. All right. So now it's time for the boring part, how my system makes you rich. I think I've found the perfect economy UBI system plan. I will explain it fully in this video. I know it's a long video, but just pick a night when you're watching 2 hours of TV, and then just watch this video instead. Uh, I call my plan Smart UBI Capitalism or the With a Wonder Economy Plan, but the name doesn't matter. Basically, it's a 150K UBI with free healthcare, but it's voluntary and you got to sign up for it. And when you sign up, there's a forced labor draft, and you lose your rights to private property ownership, and all your debts get paid off by the state. And then those on UBI are not legally allowed to use credit, and then the government now owns you and everything in your life. Basically, you will own nothing, and you will be happy. I know I I know that sounds a little bad when you first hear it, but when you fully learn my system, you will see why it's good. But I think first I want to talk quick on my spiritual views on reality. Because hey, if I'm trying to be your supreme leader, then it's probably fun to know what I think all of this is. And I think a lot of my political views probably deep down come from my spiritual moral views. So I may as well share a fast nutshell on that. One real quick. Okay. All right. Let's have to do that real quick. Okay. So I think God is probably real, but I understand there's no proof or evidence of God in this reality. But I guess God could still be real. I guess we find out when we die. And I do think all religion is BS, but if God is real, then I guess that means God made a reality where we can have fun subscribing to whatever religion we like just for funsies, as long as you're not hurting anyone. I think bringing your kids to church is a fun community thing, and I plan to bring my future kids to church, but I'll let them know religion is all BS and we just go as a fun community thing. So I'd say what my spirit is leaning towards thinking what all of this is I think God is probably real. And I think one of the aspects of this reality is finding out morality and goodness and the right way and the right path on our own without God having to tell us. So it's like we are spiritually learning on our own without being told. It's our own self spiritual learning experience. That's sort of how I view things. So I'd say a lot of my political views probably come from, I guess, me trying to find real morality and what's really the right moral path under God. All right, that's my quick little spiritual view on reality. Just if you were curious, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Oh boy, this video will be so freaking long. Whatever. I guess just make it long and say everything I need to say. I have a previous manifesto video that explains 90% of my economy plan. So I'm just gonna pull it. I'm gonna pull up that video right now and play it, so I don't have to read it again, and then I will explain the final 10% on why I think it will work. Okay. So pulling up that video of explaining the plan. Hold up. My smart UBI capitalism plan will be a voluntary system that anyone can sign up for. It will be it will be a good deal for poor people, but rich people won't sign up for it because it will be a bad deal for them. It is a deal that lets all poor people live a fair, decent life with no financial suffering. My smart UBI system will provide all you need for a decent basic life, which I'd say is basically a one bedroom apartment without stressing about money, and having enough money for healthy food, and even having extra money to go out and live life and spend money shopping at malls and partying at nightclubs. We want poor people to have extra money to stimulate the economy. At current money value, I'd say the good number is 150,000 a year UBI plus free healthcare and extra money to women with kids under age 18. Uh, and women with kids under 14 won't need to work. So I'm serious with this number. My UBI plan would give about 150,000 yearly to every poor person with free healthcare on top because you want poor people to have extra money to stimulate the economy anyway. But when you sign up for my UBI system, you will basically become a slave to the government and the government will have the power to make you work. Disabled or retired people will get to have full UBI income without working, and doctors will determine if someone is disabled, etc. Your labor draft job will be like 40 hours a week working at McDonald's or Walmart to make 150K a year with free healthcare. This is a good system for poor people because think about it, poor people are already working at Walmart for a crappy life. So they will be totally down to work at Walmart for 150K a year. We already have poor people working crappy jobs for a crappy life. So my idea is about helping all the poor people, giving them money, and then they will still have to work the crappy jobs they're already working, but it's still but my UBI plan is still a big win for poor people because people are suffering. They don't have money. Okay. Basically, it will be the government's job to find you a job. And if the government can't find you a job, then you still get to keep all your UBI cash income. There will be a government phone app that handles the UBI and labor draft system. Workers and will, employers and workers will use the app. It will say if you're employed or looking for work, things like that. Men or women without young kids will be given jobs. When you sign up for UBI, you'll be added to the public government labor draft list. And then employers can search the list, see your details, and then call the labor draft office saying they want to employ you. The office will usually always say yes to such a request, and if multiple jobs want someone, then the office will decide where you work. Basically, in my system, you no longer need to hunt for a job to live a good life. No. Instead, in my system, every human will get to live a good life by default, and then jobs will have to now hunt for you and find you. You can just sit back and wait. And if no job comes to you and selects you, then you simply get to keep all the UBI cash money. But most likely, a job will select you since you'll be cheap labor for them. Most labor draft jobs will have no paycheck, your UBI is your pay. Labor draft jobs don't have to pay you, but will pay $10 per hour to the government when using a labor draft employee. This is to give some cost to a business per worker so they don't take 1,000 workers for free and drain the system. Higher tier jobs are allowed to pay extra to workers if they want to attract better workers. It, 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 it will be illegal to quit your job without permission from your boss. If you want a new job, you tell the UBI office and they try to work with your boss to find you a new job and replace you, etc. When you sign up for UBI, you are locked into the labor draft for 10 years. If you get rich enough after 10 years, you can leave the UBI system if you want, and then you lose the UBI income, and then you no longer have to work. I think the retirement age can become 55 eventually. Everyone over 55 will keep their UBI income, but they don't have to work. If there is a labor shortage, which probably won't happen, then the government will be able to make retired people work in the emergency secondary easy job labor draft. Basically easy office jobs or relaxed air conditioned sit down government office jobs can be worked by older retired people. And then younger men will work the harder jobs like farm work, construction, or fast food, or just harder jobs. That probably won't happen, but it might, if there is a national labor shortage of too many retired people on benefits. So an old person, I gotta drink some water. So an old person will keep their 150K UBI, but they might be made to work in an easy office job. I realize I have created a system where most women won't work and they will just get to live a free and they will get to live free on UBI benefits. Because women will want to have a baby, then that gives her 15 years of free ride benefits. But I think that's okay. Society will find a way to manage it. Women do the labor of childcare so they can get rewarded with tons of money while they take care of the kids. That seems fair to me. Also, in my system, there won't be any child support or alimony anymore. Things like that won't be needed. Any woman can just sign up for UBI and all her money needs are taken care of by the government. So men will no longer worry about those things. When you sign up for UBI, all of your debts will be paid off by the government. Everything: credit cards, mortgage, student loans, etc. And then you won't be able to sign up for any loans or debt if you are on UBI. There will be special UBI mortgages from the government where, if you find someone selling a house and you want to live there, then you tell the UBI office, and the government might buy the house and let you pay a 0% mortgage to the government to eventually own it, or the government might rent it to you for really cheap. UBI housing options like that will exist. Debt products will still exist for rich people not on UBI. Rich people will still use debts and loans to increase wealth. But people on UBI will not legally be allowed to use debt products unless it's from the government, such as the government will provide 0% UBI car loans. Things like that. This next thing is an important part. When you sign up for UBI, you will lose your right to private property ownership. This part is needed to make my UBI plan only for poor people. I have thought about how to make a proper UBI system work, and I think this is the best correct UBI system. You have strong UBI, a labor draft, but you lose personal property rights if you are on UBI. The part about losing property ownership rights is an important part of my system to make rich people not sign up for it. For example, if someone gets 10 mortgages and signs up for UBI, then the government will pay off those 10 mortgages and say, wait, hold up, now you own 10 houses. So the government will take 9 of them and then leave you with one house. So that's why the government, anyway. Basically how it works is, in my system, you will still own things and it will be illegal for someone to steal from you unless it's the government. The government will be allowed to steal from you. The government will be able to take any property from you if decided it's for the good of society. You can own a house, but if you're on UBI, the government will be allowed to take it if they want, which will be rare unless you own more than one house. The general rule the system will try to follow is, you will be allowed to own one house and stocks. You can own things that the government can track easily. Then, after 10 years on UBI, if your net worth ever reaches $3 million, then the government will allow you to leave the system and you lose your 150K income, but you don't have to work anymore. And you can try to start a business or something, or basically spend all your money, and then you can sign up again when you're broke again. There will be free college in my UBI system. However, the financial purpose of college will change in my system. Currently, college is viewed as a way to have upward class mobility and to avoid being poor by getting a better job and money. But in my new system, the concept of upward class mobility will no longer matter. No one will be poor anymore. Poverty will no longer exist. And college will just be a thing for smart people who are interested in fields to pursue that field. Then with college degrees, people can work in that field and it counts on the labor draft. Also, higher tier jobs will have higher pay to attract smarter workers. How my UBI college system will work is, if you score high on college entrance tests, then you can get a UBI free scholarship and you'll be allowed one fail semester. But if your grades are bad for a second semester, then you'll get removed from the free college and you'll be made to work. So in my system, smart people who get good grades will get college degrees, and people who fail will still get 150K income, UBI, and they just work a basic job. And for rich people, they still pay for college. The free college is just for people on UBI. Okay, wow. This video is so long already, but I tried to explain things fast. I guess I just have a lot to say. Ha ha ha. Alright. Okay, so that was my video explaining most of my plan. Okay. So that was like my video explaining 90% of my plan, and now I will go to this to explain the rest. Okay. So that was my video explaining my UBI plan, and now I will explain the final 10% on why it will work. Okay. Uh, okay. So in my plan, in my plan, there will pretty much just be one tax, a 15% sales tax, and all other taxes will be removed, such as property or income tax. And every year, the government will simply print all the money it needs for every program, such as military or UBI. Let me fix this. Uh, and then hold up. And then and then every year, the money that comes in from the sales tax will be destroyed. And money is just numbers in a computer anyway. So the government will simply create or destroy money as dictated by my system. And so taxes will no longer be the thing that funds the government, and the government will no longer rely on it for funding. Taxes in my system will just be a way to destroy money and stop inflation. And the government will just create money to fund everything it deems as good for society. So logically, this means yes. At the start, the government will print more than it gets in taxes. So the money supply will grow, and there will be some inflation, yes. But I don't think it will be much, and I don't think it will be a problem. And then next, as the money supply grows, that does mean every year more money will come in from the sales tax, while the government spending will not increase as much because the UBI, the 150K UBI amount will stay the same. Well, I forgot to put this part in, which is so for people who don't understand it, you might look at the 150K UBI and be like, wait, 150K UBI, but 15% of that is only like 20 something $1,000. So how does that work out? But what you got to understand is if someone gets their UBI, they'll spend almost all of it. Then so for them, their bank account is like zero, and then someone else got the money, someone else spent it, someone else. So as the money circulates, eventually the tax is much higher than 15%. So it's a 15% sales tax, but if you spent all your money at the end of the year, then as far as you're concerned, you spent all your money. So it went somewhere. Then someone else got it and they spent it. So I guess pretty much you got to understand a 15% sales tax, it adds up to being much more as money circulates through the economy. Anyways, basically I figured it out. Okay, it makes sense, but I forgot to write it down. Okay, so anyway, anyway, so this means eventually there will come a time when the sales tax brings in about as much money as government spending. Hold up. About as much money as government spending. And then, in years, if the government spends more than it taxes, then that just means the money supply grows a little. And then a few years later, the government will get more taxes than it spends. I didn't really write this well, but I forgot the periods or whatever. Let me just say it again. Okay, so no, I did it right well. I'm just saying it, kind of weird. Okay, hold on. Anyway, so as the government prints money, the money supply increases, and then as the money supply increases, the sales tax will bring in more money, and then eventually, okay, so, all right, okay, but anyway, so, oh my god, anyway, uh, basically it'll go back and forth. So basically, the money supply will go back and forth and increase a little and decrease a little every few years, as the income tax and no, as the sales tax comes in. Basically, there won't be inflation. Okay, just trust me. There won't be inflation. It'll be a little bit of inflation. It won't be much. I said this part wrong, but I don't want to make this video again. Okay. So the system will basically regulate itself and balance itself out over time. Okay. And then also, I won't start the UBI at 150K. First, we'll start at like 40K, and maybe crank it up like 30K a year until it reaches 150. All right. And also, everyone's wealth and assets will be tracked and monitored. So anyone who reaches 3 million net worth does get removed from the UBI benefits. So people will spend their UBI money stimulating the economy, and someone who does manage or invest their money really well and reaches 3 million net worth, then they just get kicked off the UBI system anyway. So it stays as just a system for the working class. Um, many smart socialists out there, like Vosh, for example, say things like they think the stock market in general is morally evil because it leads to bad things. And I can see that reasoning sort of, but I bet if I had a conversation with Vosh, I could get him to agree that in my system, it makes aspects of capitalism, like stocks, okay and not a problem. So my system is like the solution to most of the problems we see in capitalism. So in my system, things like the stock market become fine and okay and not a problem because everyone in my system gets guaranteed that UBI safety net. The UBI safety net ensures all the poor people get to have money flow and a good life. So in my system, I wouldn't change the stock market at all. I think having a stock market and owning stocks is fine in a UBI society. And some might say, oh, my system won't work because you can't money print your way out of a problem, and money printing to solve a problem has failed in all the nations that tried it before, like Germany before Hitler with the hyperinflation. And why I think that is not an accurate view of my system is because my system is not really trying to money print out of a problem. I would not use that phrase to describe what my system is trying to do. The simple phrase to describe what my system is trying to do is, I would say, is my 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 system is trying to create a society where there is a giant government money river that flows into poor people. And we are doing this to fix the money flow problem, and taxes will destroy money to curb inflation. So my system is not just only so my system is not just only doing money printing. It's doing money destroying at the same time, but also with a logical goal in mind. The goal of eventually reaching equilibrium. My system will balance itself over time. Some years the government will tax more, some years it'll tax less, and then just over time it just balances itself out. Okay. Also, I think the problem your society is trying to get out of matters as well. I think the times where money printing was used to try to get out of a problem, they were facing a supply problem. And I agree, you can't money print your way out of a supply problem. before Hitler, there wasn't enough goods and food and supplies to go around. So printing tons of money just made hyperinflation and the problem worse. Uh, but I think today we face a different problem. I think in society, today we have a money flow problem and not a supply problem. Um, I think we don't face a supply problem at all. When you go in the grocery store or Walmart, you see unlimited food and supplies everywhere. We have way more stuff than we need. I think in our age of high technology, we live in an age of hyperabundance and hyper supply. We clearly have tons of stuff. There's a big world of tons of resources, and we have high technology to harvest it. I think the problem our society has is a money flow problem. I think our problem is the poor classes simply don't have enough money flow, and people just don't have money to buy the stuff and live a good fair life. And I believe if it's a money flow problem that your society is having, then I think you actually can pretty much money print your way out of that problem. Um, I think I think I think money printing totally can be a useful solution to a money flow problem as long as you do it right. We have oversupply and tons of stuff. We have no supply problem, but poor people just simply don't have the money to buy the stuff. And so I would say our problem is a money flow problem. And so I think actually giving poor people UBI so they can engage in capitalism and buy stuff, I think it will turn out really well. I think it will be it I think it will be good for society to create that government money river. Right now we have a system where there's tons of money flow going into the billionaires. The billionaires have no problem with money flow. Capitalism is designed to give them tons of money flow. But there's not much money flowing into the poor people. So my system seeks to fix that by making a giant government money river that flows into poor people, and I think that is good for society. In my system, there will still be capitalism and competition and rich people and billionaires, but I just think having a government money river that flows into poor people is just a really good idea for society, and that's what I'm trying to create. My my stance on minimum wage is I think a UBI system is just a much smarter way to achieve the goal of reducing poverty and making a better society. The concept of minimum wage puts the burden on companies to try to fix a society socialism issue when I think it should be the government and government power that does that. The government has way more power than companies. In in my system, I guess the UBI is basically a minimum living wage, but it's provided by the government, which I think makes much more sense. And then companies pay a small cost of $10 an hour to the government to use UBI labor. My system fixes the problem of welfare that people bring up, which is, well, how are you going to get people to work and not abuse the system if they are on welfare? And my obvious solution to that is you simply make them work, of course. You have a labor draft and you make people work if they are on benefits. Simple stuff. I didn't have to be much of a genius to figure this out. Okay? And I think jail, I think jail is the only punishment you need to make people work. I'm sure if you tell anyone on benefits you got to work at McDonald's or go to jail, I'm sure everyone will pick working at McDonald's. No one wants to go to jail. And I guess also, my system, as I've said, it will be mostly just men working because women with children, they will just get free benefits. And I think that's okay. Men do the work and women take care of the kids because taking care of kids is a job. But there will be like free childcare too, and work a job like a lawyer or nurse if they want to, and put her kids into the free childcare. That will be available for women who want to work because if they just like working, women will have that choice, but I think most women will probably choose to not work and just get free benefits and watch her kids, which is fine. Um, and I want to talk a little on the faulty mindset many people have of, oh, you should be able to survive on your own and getting government benefits is bad. And I think that mindset may have applied in the 1800s, but I think that mindset may have applied in the 1800s, but I think it no longer applies to today in our age of higher technology. The stronger technology gets, it constantly reduces the amount of real jobs society needs to function, but supply output increases. So that means eventually jobs become hard to find, even though there's so much supply and there's so much stuff. So I think once we reach our technology level, it just makes sense to create a UBI system so everyone gets money to engage in capitalism. All right. And so I see nothing wrong with being on government benefits as long as there's a labor draft that comes with it. You give people a good life and good money, and then you make them work a fair amount. All right. And there's a concept. There's a concept that there's no such thing as a free lunch, and someone will always be paying for it. But I think that concept isn't really true once you reach a high enough level of technology. I think our I think as our technology increases, we really do create a free lunch reality. Our Earth is basically a giant free lunch, and things can be basically free with strong technology. And sure, it's not free in the sense that people still have to do work where it's needed to harvest the resources and make society function. But basically, yeah, I do think as our technology increases, that we actually do sort of create a free lunch world. Like, it kind of is when you think about it. So, anyway, okay, wow. This video is so long. So, that was part one of this video, which is me fully explaining my economy plan. And now it's time for part two, which is me begging for money and subs. Because I'm a poor God King. I'm just like you, baby. I am poor and I'm broke as fuck. So, if you agree with my politics and my plan, then I'm asking you to join the With a Wonder UBI revolution. If you want to join the revolution and be one of my warriors, you can be a view warrior or a sub warrior or both. Um, if you have a job, then I'm asking you to just be a sub warrior and subscribe to my Kick for $5 a month. And Kick is great because it gives me 95% of the money. Like they only take 5%, so I'm getting all the money if you sub. Uh, and it's just $5 a month, 18 cents a day. Like really think about it. You don't even feel 18 cents a day. Like when you go out and you buy lunch, that's like $10. You don't even feel 18 cents a day. So even if you work at McDonald's, I'm asking you to give me a $5 sub on Kick, because think about it. You don't even feel 18 cents a day, and this is about the revolution, baby. So, if you really believe in the revolution and my politics, then I'm begging. I am begging you for money, and I'm begging for a $5 sub on Kick. All right. And if you're a teenager and your parents are rich enough to not be on food stamps, then tell your parents you want to get a teenage cash app and just say you want like $30 a month allowance just to have fun managing your own money and buying McDonald's with it or whatever. And if your parents give that to you, then use your cash app to subscribe to my Kick for 5 buckaroos a month. All right? I'm begging you for money. All right. All right. If you believe in this war, then sub to my Kick, bitch. If you believe in this war, then sub to my Kick, bitch, and give meaning to your life. All right? Also, I know also, I know if you have a job, your whole life is working and you have no free time. So I'm not asking you to watch Okay. So if you have a job, I'm not asking you to watch my streams. I just only ask you to subscribe. I just only ask you to subscribe, and then you don't have to watch me. Subscribing is good enough to support the revolution. The subs help a lot, and mostly I'm just trying to get subs. I don't care about the view count, but I am gonna be streaming like 12 hours a day. Cause why not? Why not stream the revolution? Right? I'm streaming the revolution. Okay, so um, I think if I get 1,000 subs on Kick, then I can totally become president. I know that sounds funny, like, bro, you're delusional. 1,000 subs don't mean shit. You'll need more than that to become president. But I'm thinking, dude, it is so extremely hard to get 1,000 subs if you are nobody and not famous. I mean, sure, popular streamers and hot girls out there be getting subs, but if you are a nobody and not famous like me, then this shit ain't easy. This is not fucking easy, man. I got like maybe 2 subs. But anyway, so like, if I actually get 1,000 subs, I would consider that divine providence from God, and then I'd feel like I can achieve anything. All right, but so I'm asking for subs. I'm trying to get those juicy subscriptions. All right, but if you're a teenager and you're already watching streamers, then sure, you can make me the streamer you watch. Um, then sure, you can make me the streamer you watch because I'm the only streamer that will make you rich. All right, why watch someone else when you're just making them rich? All right. And I use the word rich because I think just living a basic life and having the money for that. I think just living a basic life and having the money for that means you're rich. And so my plan lets everyone be rich. My plan lets everyone be rich and live a basic life, a basic fair life. Also to my view warriors, man, I can't pronounce stuff. Also to my view warriors, I want you to spread this video in your Discord and your Snapchats. Send it to your friends. We need to go viral and have everyone join the UBI revolution, baby. So, oh yeah, this is a nice part. So, woo, long ass video. It's almost done. All right. So, so, whoa, oopsie. All right, hold up. So, basically, I am the streamer for people who hate streamers and influencers, and you hate this retarded influencer culture that we live in. Think about it. If you feel pissed off that there's all these famous influencers out there like Asmongold or XQC who are making all this money for doing jack shit, but be famous, if that pisses you off, and if you are extremely jealous that they get to be super rich while your ass is poor with no money, if you're tired of this shit and you want a piece of that pie, and you're ready to get rich now too, well then I am the influencer for you. Joining our revolution is how you get a piece of that pie. We have the power, bitch ass. We will be the rulers of society. We will take over. All right. So, are you ready? Are you fucking ready for the war yet? Are you ready for the revolution? Let's go, baby. It's time for the revolution. All right. So, and it's so damn easy too. You know, just watch me, sub to me, be entertained, and I'm streaming the revolution, baby. This is not a stream. This is a fucking revolution, and I'm streaming the revolution, baby. All right, so and so it's damn easy. Just watch me, sub to me, be entertained, and then we're gonna fucking win. That's how this shit's gonna go. We're gonna fucking win. All right. And all right, this long ass video is finally over. Okay, so, and I guess last thing is, if you're a teenager, then totally check out this website. Post in this forum. This forum has the potential to be kick-ass. It just needs to get more popular. This forum actually has free speech, and you can post with fresh accounts. Most forums are super lame and they block you from posting with a fresh account. How lame is that, right? Why have a forum when you can't post shit? So, the website is, check out this website, check out this forum. The website is newmisc.com. Let me make sure that's the right spelling. I'm pretty sure that's the right spelling. Newmisc.com, right? Oh boy. Such a long ass video. Yep, newmisc.com. That's the spelling. Alright, so check it out, boys. Newmisc.com. Check out that website. It's a good website. So, it's a good forum. So check it out. That forum is going to pop off. Lots of funny stuff gets posted there. A good place to laugh. I plan to start posting my stuff there too. Basically, I'll probably become the king of that forum soon, and then everyone there shall worship me as their new god. Alright. Holy fuck, 45 minutes. 45-minute video. And that's everything. It's time for the revolution, baby. Sub to me, whatever. Who watched this fucking video, who knows? Alrighty. Bam. Well, bam, bam, bam. Alright. Video fucking over. Alright, whatever.